Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. I am so excited to have my third episode, returning guest for all three of the Real Life with Stassi's. I have Nardvillain back here today. Thank you so much for coming back here today.
Hey, you are absolutely welcome. Glad to be here.
Honestly, at this point, you're an affiliate.
I know, right? I feel like one of your sponsors at some point should just pay us to like actually or fly us somewhere where we can actually podcast together in person.
I could not agree more.
That'd be awesome.
I actually applied to a really cool opportunity where I would go to Austin, Texas for 3 months if I end up getting it and working with experts in the industry of how to build a podcast. So fingers crossed
Nice. That'd be
that could be
awesome.
my life. But anyways, welcome back, welcome new listeners. Thank you for tuning in. Today's a very important topic, as mental health. As you know, I've talked about on mental health very much on this channel, as this is Mental Health Awareness Month. Let's shine a light on mental health, and let's dive in. For anyone, this is their first time
Absolutely.
listening. Again, welcome new listeners. Nardville, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I go by Nardvillain for a lot of my social accounts and content creating. My name is Shenard, videographer, photographer, video editor, podcast editor, podcaster by day, and by night I'm all of the above, but for my own brand, pretty much.
I like that, and I think this is dives in really important of talking about being a content creator, because when
Hmm.
you're a content creator, you work for yourself. Like,
Yep.
it's the content you want to put out. I want to talk to you about burnout, because I know we've talked about experiencing that in the last little bit. Nardville, talk to me about like how is your mental health right now? How are you doing?
I would definitely say right now, mental health for me, I feel like I'm either at my final stages of burnout, and I feel
Mm.
like I'm kind of getting over the stages because the last month I feel like has been really hard on me. I think I'm gonna say both physically and mentally,
Hmm.
and I feel like I'm starting to get out of that phase of the initial burnout, and I'm starting to put in more protocols of trying to avoid it for next time. I
Hmm.
think it's just I feel like it's just when I get a lot of work, whether it's client work or I have all these ideas for content, it starts to build up to where certain things in my life I start to kind of forget about, like the
Hmm.
social element, the social life part,
Hmm.
enjoyment of just doing stuff that doesn't require social media or content creating. I'm starting to forget to just enjoy the moment. So a lot of that build up from just always working, always pushing for the next video, pushing for that next, finishing off that next deadline, it just starts to add up. And I think currently my mental health I would definitely say, has been really on a lower point, and then just trying to deal with stuff outside of work and
Hmm.
content creating has also had an impact on my initial burnout stage as well.
Hmm.
So
I
it's been a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, and planning a wedding. I mean, that's just a
Mhm.
fucking beast in
Yeah.
itself, of just like you're tired. Like you're just like you're
Hmm.
physically exhausted at the end of the day, and you're like, I didn't get to that video today. Or I didn't
Right.
get to do X, Y, and Z that I wanted to today. And it can really drain on you, because as a content creator, you are your own worst critic. And
Right.
like your fans may not notice if you don't post that video at like 7 p.m., but you fucking notice that you didn't
Hmm.
post that video at 7 p.m. And then it eats away at you, and then that's all you think about until at that point it's no longer fun. You're just continuously just you're basically feeding the beast
Hmm.
of just like, well, I got to do this to be happy. I have to do this because I want to do this, or I'm so busy with like my day life that I don't have enough time to do content creating. And then, as I can see you're a very creative person, I have to ask, when you're not being creative and when you're doing the not creative stuff, does that also make you feel really burnt out when you're not being creative?
Yeah, it makes me feel burnt out, but it also just makes me feel just like, why am I doing this type
Mhm.
feeling like when I get like certain things where I just feel like it's just you know stuff that I have to do just to get by, you know, like certain projects that don't really require much effort.
Mm,
I just get burnt out on that too, just because it's like I have to do certain things in order for to make money, obviously, or just
hmm
to do, you know, like I have to still do thing at my everyday life and stuff that doesn't require, you know, being creative. So then by the time it's time to do something that's creative, I'm already tired or burnt out or mentally exhausted to where when it's time to be creative, I can't even be creative because I'm already feeling that verge of burnout from stuff that doesn't even really require me to even be creative, you know? So it just kind of sucks that, you know, I have to, or we all have to still do those things that might not require a creative effort. But then at the end of the day, you're still using that part of your brain
hmm
that still requires a little bit of creative effort, I guess. So then by the time you do something creative, you're just already burnt out from it. So
Oh,
yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I get that too.
yeah, like 100% of just being like, okay, well, I need to go do X, Y, and Z now. I don't have
Hmm.
time, or I'm
Right.
tired, or I want to spend time with my fiance. I know we
Hmm.
talked in the wedding podcast, or I mentioned it, that being a content creator is very lonely.
Hmm.
I really want to stress that out to some people that are like, I want to be a content creator, but like I don't even know where to start. Like, start with what you love, but once you really get into the knee deeps of it, I feel really lonely a lot of the
Hmm.
time of just being like, well, it's my eighth podcast today or this weekend. My fiance's gone because obviously like he can't, like, don't be in the like I want him home. Don't get me
Right.
wrong, but I'm not gonna make him sit fucking not talking for 2 days. Can't have TV on, can't have anything. He's literally sitting in the corner with his headphones on, waiting to hear when I say and or goodbye, like my
Hmm.
normal spiel shit, right? So like that's not fair to him. Like this is his home too. But I just kind of sit by myself at the end of the day of just being like, did I feel fulfilled? Because like I got into this, like, if I filmed 4 podcasts today, did I feel fulfilled? The answer is
Hmm.
no. I
Yep,
want to
that's
keep
true.
doing more. I want to get the next. I'm always driving for the next podcast, that I forget to enjoy the moment of just like,
Yep.
here's
Same.
I'm just excited to be doing this on my spare time. It's just become a point now that I'm like, okay, like let's get to the next one. Like I'm so far into planning podcasts that I forget to sometimes have fun along the way, which makes me feel tired. And then like a podcast may not have like the best listens. I will say a lot of people do like this series, but it doesn't even hold a wind. It doesn't even hold a
Mhm.
candle to my other Sim series. People know me as a Simmer Spotlight girl. That's awesome. I don't know if they want to hear sad Stassi talking about topics, but I want to do that because that's
Right.
how I want to grow. But I will be said that like the last couple podcasts, like yeah, people love them, but like today's Simmer Spotlight has more listens in one day than our wedding podcast that came out on Sunday.
Right.
Which it's like it's it's hard
Mhm.
because I'm so excited about this new channel, but I understand that like not everybody may, or not new channel, like you know what I mean, like new series,
Yeah, the
like
new concept,
the new
yeah.
concept, right? Like I get it sucks,
And
and
it
then
and I think yeah, and I think it'll find its way. It'll find its audience eventually, but that's just that whole waiting period. It's that whole like,
yeah,
okay, I'm starting from ground zero again. I know I'm
hmm
gonna go through that like that self doubt of like, why am I
yeah,
doing this extra podcast again when there's no one listening? And then when people, like you said, when people start listening, you're like, oh man, cool,
oh
that's
cool,
awesome.
that's
But you
awesome,
know,
yeah.
yeah,
It's the cycle. Like I feel like every content creator goes through this period about every 3 to 6 months of being like, what, why the fuck am I doing this?
yep.
Have like are you currently in the why the fuck am I doing this stage? Or are you like, I got this?
I'm more at the I got this stage in my
Okay.
creator content like path, but there are moments, even like yesterday when I was, you know, it's 12:30 at midnight.
hmm
I'm editing a video to post for today,
hmm
and I know all this stuff I got going on. Like I have a to-do list of all these projects I want to get done. So it's like I've literally worked for 8 hours putting together B-roll stuff for a client
Mhm.
that it now when it's my time to do my thing, it's like, midnight and I want to
Mhm.
get this pushed out. And then I'm like, now I'm thinking to myself, like wow, like is it even like why am I doing this? It's 12:30. I'm trying to put together a 45-second video
Mhm.
that got like 16,000 views. But at the same time, it's kind of like I'm still thinking like, oh my God, like why am I doing this? Like
Mhm.
how are people gonna, engage with it? What if it flops, like and then I start feeling bad. It's like, should I been working on something else? I
Mhm.
always get that. Like I feel like sometimes when I'm creating content, I enjoy it. I'm enjoying the process, but one half of me is trying to persuade me to think that what I'm doing isn't I should be doing something else. And I don't know why I
Mhm.
feel that way sometimes. I feel like why am I doing this? I should be doing something else. But at the end of the day, it's like I enjoy what I do. I
Mhm.
should just embrace the moment of creating content because there's nothing wrong with that. People watch
Yeah.
8 hours of TV a day.
Yeah.
Instead of me watching 8 hours of TV a day, I decided to just create content for 8 hours out of my day.
Mhm.
So I should look at it as my time to myself, my hobby. But I just feel like it does sometimes make me be in that mode where I'm like, why am I even doing this? Because I do want to grow and I want to continue to grow. But I do feel like I will go back into those stages of feeling that way sometimes too.
I totally got you. Now, I have to ask, what do you do for your mental health when you're at your burnout and you're just like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. Like, what do you do to make yourself feel better?
Um, I think just like you, I get in those phases where I just feel like it's just lonely. So what I try to do is I really do try to be a little bit more vocal with content creator friends
Mhm.
because sometimes I feel like it doesn't have to be lonely. It's only unless we allow it to be sometimes, which is still kind of hard because I still feel like it is a lonely journey because when I'm burnt out, I try to figure out, well, what can I do to get out of this phase? Obviously, I'm not drinking because so I can't go and stress drink,
Mhm.
and I can't really vent and complain to my significant others or friends because they don't really know what it's really like to be a content creator, because a lot of times I feel like some of our friends and family members would just say, why don't you just take a break for a
Yeah,
month?
why don't you just quit? Like, why do you like do
Yeah.
something else that you
Yeah.
enjoy? Oh yeah.
Right, but what they don't understand is, yeah, we may or may not be making money to where we can live off this financially or comfortably, but we are building a brand that we can't just
Mhm.
give up on because I mean, whether you have 50 people that rock with you like
Mhm.
loyally, and then or you have 200 people
Yeah.
that really rock with you, you have like this kind of commitment to them. It's like you are literally kind of entertaining them. Like
Yeah.
that's your audience. So when I get in my burnout phases, I think about them. I think about what if I do miss a couple days or a week, then I think about the algorithm. Like I know how the algorithm is going to beat us up for taking a few days off, like I haven't
Mhm.
posted a long form video in 3 weeks and I already know as soon as I upload my next long form video, because I've been doing a lot of shorts, at
Yeah.
least on YouTube, I know it's going to get probably no reach because I
Yeah.
haven't posted a long form video on YouTube. And it just kind of sucks because it's so hard to toss both long form and short form if you're not strategically planning for that,
Mhm.
planning to post long form and short form on your, putting both on your calendar. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to take those moments where I take a moment to just think about why I'm doing it. Like when I'm getting burnt out, I'm like, okay, maybe I should just scale back a little bit. Maybe do one or two short forms. Maybe take two short form ideas off my plate and maybe focus on two or three versus five for that week.
Mhm.
Maybe sit back and remember why I do this, why I, put this stuff together, and try to and remind myself to be grateful because honestly, this is probably a first world problem that I'm having when it comes to burnout, but I don't want to look at it that way because it's still my mental health.
Mhm.
Just because I'm stressing over something that might not be as an issue to some people, but it's still dealing with my mental health that can pretty much put some damage on my physical health as well. So I try to to keep some protocols in place by making sure I'm getting enough rest,
Hmm.
making sure that I'm still getting exercise in, because we're sitting at our chairs for hours upon hours, probably not eating the best either.
Hmm.
So I try to remind myself during these stressed out burnout stages, make sure I'm still eating good, making sure I'm having a healthier lifestyle, making sure I'm not getting crazy with sweets and stuff like that, because even though you're burning out and you're stressing out but you're not eating healthy and you're not exercising, that's gonna just make it even worse.
Hmm.
So I try to make sure if I'm going to burn out, I got to make sure my health is still good. I got to make sure I'm still eating good. I'm getting my nutrients in. I'm staying hydrated. I'm still getting 8 hours of sleep, because if you're not doing all that for your body, it's just gonna make it worse. So.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm
Mhm.
gonna tack caffeine on there. Like, don't
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
boatload a bunch of caffeine or whatever the fuck, Red Bull, Rockstars, G Fuel, whatever the fuck the gamers always self plug.
Right.
Like, don't fill yourself up with those. Like, you're just causing yourself, like, oh, like, I'll just have an energy drink. It's like
Mhm.
6 p.m. Like, oh God, it's now 3 a.m. and I can't sleep. Oh,
Yeah.
I best have another caffeine
Mhm.
beverage or anything just to keep yourself going. I think everything you just said is very important. Please listen to Nardvillain. If you're a content creator, like, you have to eat and you have to
Yeah.
sleep. And when I was talking to the Mom Cave about like our original mental health podcast, like, I flat out said, I'm like, because I have an eating disorder, still, like, I mean, just because I don't actively say, like, oh, anorexia is not bothering me today, I could go 2 days without eating. My body is just, it could just do that. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes I'll be like, oh, like, I haven't eaten today. Like, for an example, as I was filling Nardvillain in, I had a very stressful day of water tank decided to explode and water was everywhere. And my fiance was like, you should eat,
Yeah.
Jenny. Like, I'm like, I'm like, I can't. Like, I literally made excuses that I couldn't eat because I was at my computer. And I like literally walked over, ate a hunk of bread, and continued to go back. And because
Mhm.
that satisfied me. That is probably, I really wish I would have taken up that advice and would have had the nutritious lunch that I would have eaten if I was not stressed. Right. So please eat. Even I know it's expensive to eat healthy, but even if it's
Yeah, it
just
is.
like a protein. It doesn't have to be a meat-based protein. It could be any
Mhm.
type of protein or just like a vegetable or a fruit. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be like strawberries. It could be
Right.
anything, right? Just
Yeah, just.
try to get something in
Mhm.
there instead of running towards the sugar.
Right.
I'm notorious when it's podcast weekend or when I make Rose Chronicle chapters. Sometimes I'll make 9 in a weekend. That's a lot of work. I'll never do that again. That was 16 hours straight both days of just continuously at my computer, like, not
Mhm.
moving, not blinking. I just didn't even notice that it was that long. I won't eat and I won't drink water. I'll eat chocolate. I'll literally run to the cabinet, grab my secret stash of chocolate. That will last me about 2 to 3 hours, go back and grab more secret chocolate and eat. And that's all I'll survive on for
Mhm.
days when I'm content creating. So, and I feel like garbage after, which
Yeah.
our next podcast is about no sugar.
Oh, yeah, yep.
But like, it's a sugar burn route,
Mhm.
right? So I think that's really, really good advice. And listen, of like, the thing is what drives me crazy is all these kids now, like, that's what they want to be when they grow up. They want to be YouTubers and
Mhm.
influencers and Twitch stream artists. And it kills my
Right.
heart because not everybody can do that.
Nah, they can't.
No.
I know for sure. Like, I even people in my personal life, I'm like, if they can't handle that, they definitely can't handle the stress that comes to just being a content creator, whether it's creating the content or trying to stay in a positive limelight, or
Mhm.
the threats of being doxxed, or
Yeah.
getting hate emails or hate comments. Like, you gotta have thick skin, and you just have to be a hard worker.
Yeah. I mean, I think you just brought up a really good point. Let's talk about the hate speech
Hmm.
of what it's like to be on the negative side. Great, good comments are great. I live for those.
Yeah.
I love good comments. I get bad comments every day of
Hmm.
you suck. Um, because since like I have a mild form of Tourette's, you'll hear a hum. I just leave it in my podcast now because it's a part of me and I'm not going to change who I am. People will basically say like, you should kill yourself to me all the time because they don't
Wow.
like what I have to say. They think I'm very needy. And I don't let it bother me because I have such thick skin that like sticks and stones, man. But some days it really does hurt. Have you ever just read a comment that just destroyed you?
Um, not mm, not necessarily. Well, it was more like a DM. Yeah, I'll say yeah, only because I kind of not necessarily confided in them. Like I kind of not I was not necessarily at a low point, but it was more like a person I thought was a friend, and they ended up being more of a troll than a friend. It
Mm-hmm.
just said some really hurtful things about my content. And the only reason why it hit me was because they were more like at first I thought they were more of a friend than they were just some random person. I think it hit me
Yeah.
the most because I thought I knew them,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
they just did a complete 180. I don't know if it was because um I just honestly don't know. They just said so many hateful things, even throughout some racial slurs, and it was just kind of weird. And then I mean, I will get like a racial, like something weird, like a George Floyd type of comment, which was weird. I usually don't. I don't really let those bother me. So
Mm-hmm.
people tell me like I'm insufferable, like my voice is insufferable and stuff like that. I usually just go back with another joke. Like I'm really witty when it comes to hate comments. But that one particular, just I had to block them, and they threatened to dox me and stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if they already have doxed me because there have been some interesting things happening. But I'm hoping that I got rid of that rodent problem. But I wouldn't think less of that situation. But I think it was just a rodent situation that just happened to happen. The
Yeah.
timing was just weird, um, but yeah, it just sucks because you put out this content in a positive light that you
Mm-hmm.
don't want people to think bad about you, and you put in this work, you put in hours of work for someone to just say it sucks,
Yeah.
or you shouldn't create content, or you're such a waste of time or energy. It just kind of sucks because it's like you get all these other positive comments, but then that one negative one could really bring you down.
Mm-hmm.
It really can. And luckily for me, it's always the perfect timing that I'll get a hate comment, and then all of a sudden I'll get like 8 comments of people saying, "Oh my God, I'm looking for the next video," or "Post more of these," or "You're like my favorite Sims tuber," or "You're my favorite Sims talker." So stuff like that can kind of really keeps me going and makes me forget about some of the hate comments that you may get sometimes.
Yeah. I want to apologize for fucking assholes out there.
Hmm.
That's not okay. It is never okay to give negative comments, let alone racial comments. That's really fucked up. And what I want to convey to people is you may not like the content creator, but we're fucking humans, okay? We have a fucking soul. And if you don't like it, just say, I don't like it. Or here's a better idea. Unsubscribe or just stop watching. Okay. You don't have to put your little keyboard troll fingers behind being like, I hate you. Like that's it doesn't does it that's that did that make you feel better to writing that out
Right.
loud? Like people like that, my heart sometimes will go out to them because they're clearly in such a negative place that they're taking out their negativity on anybody that just happens to piss them off. And that could literally
Right.
be over anything. And I feel bad. I feel sad for them
Yeah, me
because
too.
like that's what makes them feel better. That
Hmm.
speaks volumes of the character. And I've gotten to know you as a very good friend, and I've gotten to see you grow in the last, I want to say 4 or 5 months since we have been friends. And I've watched you grow continuously. And whatever negative feedback you get, know that it's not you, it's them. And I know that's
Yeah.
hard to say, but if you're having a really bad day, you've just worked like an 18-hour day, you're out making a video, and you just see that comment, it can just go to like a dagger.
Hmm.
But they don't think that. they've already moved on. They don't
Right.
they've probably forgotten that they've written that comment, but you'll never forget.
Right.
You remember all your negative comments.
Yep.
Even if you say like it
Exactly.
doesn't bother you, it get like, oh, it's fine, it's great.
Hmm.
But it still hurts. And I know you
Yeah.
said we talked about doxing before, and we've obviously talked about it in this podcast. Like, what do you do to protect yourself from
Um,
fans?
you just gotta sometimes just separate friends and fans. Like if people try to DM you, I try to be nice and comment back and answer their questions. And I just try to leave it at that, and try not to get too personal.
Mhm.
Unless there's already an established relationship,
Yeah.
because it's like I said, it is a lonely journey. So you do want to meet friends and new people within the community that you could talk about The Sims or whatever your interests are, the beauty of the internet. But then, there's times where you might have to, if you get to a certain level of I guess stardom or just being a more of a bigger influencer, now it comes to the point where it's like, now I got to make an LLC and now I got to get a PO box so no one knows my
Hmm.
real address and stuff like that, or I have
Hmm.
to VPN my web addresses so people can't hack into my computer, or I have to have
Hmm.
a legit Nardvillain Gmail without my personal one so I can
Yep.
separate the two, just so that way you can kind of separate your brand to your personal life, so that way it gives you a chance of privacy a little bit better. I mean, you can obviously search my name, because I mean, if you search my name, it's going to give you my business profile and all that
Hmm.
stuff, so you only can do but so much.
Yeah.
But like mailing addresses and stuff, I definitely try to be a little bit more cautious and careful with, which is why I have my own PO box, and all my mails delivered to another address versus my home address, just to be safe,
Yeah.
from people knowing your address and stuff like that. And But yeah, it could be a lot. It could be scary because you don't know who's a super fan and who might just be out there just wanting to hate and just
Hmm.
just make your day bad, and it can happen. Like, there's been times with the same situation with the same troll going into my comments and saying, "Oh, he's a pedophile. No, he's a guy. He's sending like underage porn to people or whatever." So, but luckily, not Twitter, but TikTok's like filtering those comments
Hmm.
out so that it's not being shown. But
Yeah.
stuff like that can hurt your brain, or
Absolutely.
can freak people out. So then I have to like block them again and make sure like, that's not being seen on in my comments, So just because of a hate, just because people are hating, so you just gotta, again, you gotta have thick skin, and you have to kind of just be a little bit more mindful of your privacy, and you got to know, like, as you grow and get bigger, you kind of have to separate your brand with your personal life. Sometimes it can be hard, like
It,
it is very hard.
no, I could not agree more. And again, thank you for sharing that wisdom. I had my fiance had to sit down and have a one-on-one with me of being
Hmm.
like, Jenning, like you can't, like you're gaining a followership. Like I want you to be safe.
Yep.
Especially, I don't want anyone finding out where we live. I don't want anybody to come stalk you. The only ever time I had a weird experience, somebody emailed with like a fake Stassi email wanting to interview this person.
Oh
But
wow.
because that's how I reach out to people. I say all
Hmm.
the time, like I reach out, you'll know when I'm asking for rounds of interviews because like emails and stuff go out. They pretended to be me to book an interview and ask them for money.
Mm.
That it's a pay, you pay me to be on here. And it was this person messaged me and was like, I can't afford to pay you. And my response was, is the fuck you talking about? Who are you? I
Right.
have no idea who you are. And they're like, you sent me an email. And I'm like, I've never sent you an email. I'm so sorry that this has happened. This is not me. Um, if anyone knows the email I use for this, you know the email I use. I don't
Right.
use a Stassi email. So we'll leave it there. If anybody reaches out to you with a Stassi request saying like, oh, like I'm booking spots, but they like it was in pounds, like it was in like UK currency.
Mm,
That's not me, guys.
right,
I don't you have to pay to be here.
right.
And I don't email you to reach out to you. I usually DM you. So please bear in mind that that won't happen for me. So
Right. Same. And only
yeah,
time I'll ever ask for money, I would be on cam requesting money through another nonprofit organization and not for
mhm,
myself. So
exactly.
I probably might have to start putting disclaimers on my social handles as well, just in case it's already going on and I don't even realize it. Just letting people know, like, I would never ever ask anyone for personal money. Only time I will, it would be through my own voice
Mhm.
video or through
Yes.
a nonprofit organization, like, let's say, Alzheimer's or something like that. And
Yes.
I will be on camera streaming or doing something for that cause. So yeah,
Exactly. So it's weird. I never thought that that would happen because again, I'm just shocked that people
it's
listen to this podcast, let alone that they want to impersonate to pretend to be
yeah,
me
it's
to ask
crazy.
people for money. Like it was just so
It's not
fucking
even
weird.
flattering. It's not even a flattering
No,
moment, like when people try to impersonate you and try to gain some type of either money or their own fame through your content or your brand. It's so weird,
it's
and
so
then it's not
gross.
flattering.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. So please, if you are a fan of this podcast and you like wanted to do that, please stop.
Mhm.
Like I'm begging you. Not only is it just gross that you're doing that, but you're tarnishing something that I put my heart and my soul into, and it just really it hurt me in a way that like it just hurt a lot.
Mhm.
And I don't know how many more people they've reached out to. If you listen to this podcast and you've got a weird email from me, please message me immediately and
Right.
know that I don't email people
Mhm.
unless it's with a Zoom link
Right.
because we've
Right.
already
Exactly.
scheduled an email or anything, if any, like
Mhm.
so. But anyways,
Quick
we
question. Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You asked me about, how I deal with, burnout. I'm just curious to know how you deal with it, and then I also would love to know if you've ever had any viral moments, and how do you handle your viral moments without being burnt out?
I
Because
think
that's a whole nother topic on its
that
own too.
it's a good question. It's hard to answer the mental health aspect of it because like I'm not a psychopath, but I don't wear my heart on my sleeve anymore. I'm just a person that just always is working because if I'm not working, there's something wrong.
Mhm.
But it definitely in the last like year, I'll have like holy shit moments of um the fuck am I doing this for? I would say what I do is I write something that I really like to do. I obviously Rose Chronicles. I really just like writing. I think that's what can take me out of a burnout stage of rewriting a chapter or writing something that I've never had a chance to write before. That's kind of what I really like to do. And I know if I haven't had a chance to write in a couple days, I literally can feel that like I'm a fucking asshole. Like I literally just need to be creative. Even if it's
Mhm.
just like I'm a very creative person, even if it's just like I'm going to make cupcakes or I'm going to make a fancy dinner. I'm going to use my chef brain or I'm going to organize something or I'm going to watch TV. I think it's just kind of more of like separating Stassi and Jenny. I've been accused a lot in the last year of people feeling like I'm Stassi to them because every conversation feels like an interview, not like I'm
Mhm.
just physically fucking asking them like a question. So that was really hard. I guess a really big eye opener. So last week through the wedding podcast, like I was sick. I was clearly sick. So the next day I actually went to the doctor and they're like, you have bronchitis. And I'm like, that sucks. My voice actually went progressively worse.
Oh,
actually the
wow.
next day. I actually did not have a voice on Friday.
Oh,
I had
damn. Well, we
I,
got lucky.
we got lucky. We got lucky with the filming schedule, but it's so funny. You know what my friends and family were saying?
What?
You have to cancel your podcast if you have any this weekend. My girlfriend, while I talked to her earlier today, I gave her a maid of honor task. She's like, "What are you doing tonight?" I was like, "Oh, I got two podcasts," and she's like, "You got to take a break." Like, it's like my friends are starting to notice that like I'm constantly working, and I think they may feel neglected, but I don't see it that way because
Hmm.
I'm just living my dream of just talking and having
Yeah.
people listen. But I guess long story short, just I try to be creative. I'm a person that gets 9 hours of sleep every day. I've always been that way.
Lucky you.
I don't drink caffeine. I don't have coffee. If anything, I have these little chocolates. They're called Awake, and they have an owl on them, but they're caffeinated chocolate. I know all chocolate's caffeinated, but this is specifically caffeinated. I'll eat those if I like need a little push. But I go to bed at 10 p.m. every day, and I get up.
Wow.
That's my hard deadline. That's what I do. I drink about 4 liters of water a day. I've been like that for a long time because I have ovary problems that I always have to be hydrated. I always have to pee. I have frequent UTIs. So I can, like, obviously we all know how women get UTIs. It's not how I get
Yeah.
them. I could get a UTI anytime. For anyone who's listening, they know how painful a UTI is. So I have to continue to be hydrated all times. So I have to pee all the time. So it's interesting to say the least, but and anyways, my advice is sleep and eat. And if you're feeling burnout, do something that you love instead of like, because like right now, like I'm like behind on Rose Chronicle chapters. I literally decided to cut the rest of the season into half. I was going to release up to 180. I'm stopping at 160. That like literally killed me to do that because
Mm.
that puts me behind on my posting schedule. But then I realized you guys don't know my posting schedule. I
True.
know my posting schedule. I know when I post things. You guys don't. You guys just enjoy when you see content. So that was something that I just really wanted to acknowledge, of being like, I want to take back when I want to post content, not because you're expecting me to post content. I want to be excited about the content I post instead of rushing out content because
Exactly.
you
Same here.
think that like podcasts and stuff, like, yeah, like these podcasts that are like the podcast that's coming out today with Simile Staff. Please go listen to that podcast if you haven't listened to it. That was filmed in February, guys. Like, it's like all these podcasts are months out. Like our literal podcast, what we filmed back in January, came out last week,
Hmm.
right? So that's the kind of stuff. It's fine. That's why I'm excited for this channel, that like it's real time. Like this is coming out Sunday, right?
Hmm.
So and to answer your question about a viral, I've had a couple podcasts go like really well, like a lot of listens. I just won on best voice actress at the Machinima Awards, which was very
I
cool.
saw that. Yeah, the story. I saw
I
that.
also
So
I also hosted the awards.
congrats.
So it was my first ever like award show hosting.
That's cool.
I also won at that award show most inclusive simmer for this podcast.
That's dope.
It was so surreal. Um, I literally was watching the awards on the couch. My fiance's cooking on the barbecue, and I had 3 of my really good closest friends, the Mom Cave, OMG Sims, which is my husband, and Gabby, come out surprising me to give me this award. And I
That's
was
dope.
literally in tears. I was literally in tears because I was so shocked, because I lived in the moment for the first time in a long time when it came to this. Because my friends, who I'm so happy they were my friends, came to support me. They didn't have to. They didn't have to
Mm.
be there. They could have just said, here's the award. But my 3 of my good friends decided to say, you know what? You do so much for us. Let us do something for you.
That's
And that,
awesome.
to me, that like, I was literally crying. I I had to go because like I was told that it was going to be Cimarella that was giving it to me. So when I saw this like this on stage, I was like, oh, cool. I didn't know they were presenting anything. And then when they started talking, they're like, she's a big advocate for mental health and like she's become very good friends of mine. She's an amazing podcaster. She pushes boundaries. And I was like I was literally like my jaw was on the floor. Another moment as well was the 100th episode. I came in with no plan to that podcast. And not that I have plans for these podcasts anyways, because I truly don't at this point. And Gabby, like friend Gabby, also
Mhm.
at the Machinima Awards, made everybody be like, what do you love about Stassi? What has she enriched your life
That's
with?
cool.
And everybody had something to say. And it just floored me. I was like, I didn't realize that I had such an impact on people's lives. Because I constantly wonder, if I was to die tomorrow, would you guys care? Would you guys remember me? Am I building a legacy or am I wasting my time? So it was so surreal to have people just be like, I like you and I like what you do, and continue to keep pushing boundaries and continue to have the hard conversations and continue to bring the community closer together. So to answer your question, I've had a couple moments. On my main page, my Stassi page, I hit 1 million people on Instagram that my content was seen in a month. That was
Awesome.
surreal. Like 1 million people. That is everybody in the town I live in currently and my hometown looking at something. And that is crazy in my eyes. Just really crazy because it's 1 million people.
It's a lot.
It's a
It's
lot
a
of
lot of
people.
people.
It's a lot of people. And I know like TikTok videos get like millions of views and like reels and stuff, but this was like my first million of
Mhm.
people seeing my shit, and it felt cool. And I took your advice and I ravished in
Sat
it,
in the moment.
and I
Yep.
was in the moment, and I got, well, plug my ice cream sponsor in a moment.
Nice.
But like I'm getting sponsored by ice cream. I'm getting sponsorships. Like I'm just trying to live in that moment of like, I've worked so hard. I have put so many hours into this. And now it's starting to show. And it's
See?
making me realize that maybe I'm actually on the right path for the first time in my life. Maybe I'm actually making good decisions. So to answer your question, long story short, lots of sleep, lots of water, and enjoy the moments, because you don't realize that how much of an impact you have on people's lives until they tell you.
That's true.
Good, right? So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's you almost had me in tears, and I can definitely agree with you. Like sometimes you do sit and wonder how many people you really impact, how many people really care about you, and how many people will show up in the time of when they need to
Yeah.
at the right moments. It's just a beautiful thing that a lot of create content creators like ourselves are creating. We're creating, hopefully, like you said, like a legacy around the stuff that we're doing in hopes
Mhm.
that it is impacting people. It is making people's day. So it's a beautiful thing that we do behind the scenes that we don't get to see a lot. Like
Mhm.
we don't get to see how what people are really saying to these creators that are really making people continue to go and do what they do, unless like yourself finally vocalize that. I have people that really take care of me, that really show up,
Mhm.
and really just is really proving that I'm making an impact
Yeah.
on the niche that I'm or in the community.
I like it floored me. It literally floored me. I just didn't think that, because like you go through that mindset of just being like, well, I'm just putting out this content, like no one's commenting, no one's responding. Because
Right.
podcasts are very different, guys. Like you have to DM me if you like this. And I have
Hmm.
people that DM me every time, but like I people are like, I'm so excited to see your whatever guest you have on Wednesday. Or I'm so excited for Wednesdays. I get that all the time. Like Wednesdays has become my favorite day because it's your podcast day.
Hmm.
That's so fucking surreal. That's
Keeps you
fucking
going,
so
right?
it keeps me going. Like that keeps me the feel going of basically being like, I gotta see where this journey takes me.
Mhm.
I could wake up 2 years from now being like, I'm done. And you'd have to respect that
Yep.
as my fans of being like, I can't do this anymore. Or I don't think I'm gonna do a hundred episodes in a season. I don't think we're gonna do that again.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know, guys. It's a lot. Because I think at this
Right.
point, I think we're up to like 80 episodes this season that are filmed and currently being filmed because I'm including real life of Stassi into this sim season because it's still a
Mhm.
podcast season even if it's 2 shows. But anyways, Nardvillain, I gotta wrap us up.
Nice.
Um,
Okay.
we gotta talk about no sugar.
Yeah, that's true. Can I just say one thing though about just going viral, and then I'll
Yeah,
keep it brief, just
yeah,
2 minutes. If you
of
cut me
course.
off, play the
Yeah,
music, cue the music.
I'll cue the
I just
music
want
up.
to, I just want to say, don't I just want people who are wanting to be content creators. I just don't want their goals as a content creator to be I want to go viral because I feel like
Yeah.
going viral is only short term
Hmm.
kind of just like a short term thing of gratitude or just some like a reward in a way,
Hmm.
I think for me I want more like you. Like I want more of an impact, I want a
Yeah.
community. Like I would rather know that I have 100 solid people
Hmm.
that'll rock with me with my content. I want 5 people to be on me if I miss a day, a day of upload. That's when you got an impact. Is when somebody will say, or will just know like dag. Like I can't even go in and say, hey, what's up? To somebody in a Twitch stream or TikTok stream without like 5 people being like, "Oh my God, it's Nardvillain." So now I can't even just do my
Hmm.
usual like browsing because it's kind of weird for people to like to get that type of attention on someone else's stream. So now I have to
Hmm.
kind of be kind of chill, but knowing like there's people that know your name is kind of nice.
Hmm.
Because you don't want to go viral and then all of a sudden you're chasing another viral video. That's gonna burn you out just twice as fast. So
Oh, absolutely. And let's clarify, viral video means lots of views, not hella dollars.
right, right, right.
Let's
Going
get that.
viral.
Going viral just
Yeah, yeah.
means a million people have watched it, but then your
Mhm.
next video will get like 10,000
Yeah,
views and you'll think like,
yeah.
what the fuck did I do?
Mhm.
It's just the
Right.
algorithm
Yeah. Or it's
playing
just
a
viral
game.
for you. If your average is, 5,000 views, but you get 200,000 views, that could be potentially a viral video for yourself.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think you just hit a really good point. Viral doesn't mean millions. Viral just means whatever you're used to doing times that by two, as how I like to
Hmm.
say it. So you could have a viral moment, like say a post normally gets 2,000 views, but it gets 80,000 views.
Yeah.
Viral.
To me, that's a good day. That's a good viral video for yourself. Hmm.
Exactly. Well, Nardvillain, it's been a blast. It's been a
It's been
blast
a
in a past.
blast.
It's been a blast. We got to leave it off since it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and this is
Mhm.
coming out for the last Sunday of. It's coming out obviously the 28th today. What advice could you give anybody who's currently struggling with their mental health?
I would definitely say you gotta put yourself first sometimes because I feel like we're always trying to service other people. We're always trying to fill up other people's happiness tanks, but at the end of the day, we're not able to do that if we're not taking care of our own tanks. Whether it's like you mentioned before, whether it's you getting enough sleep at night, you're eating healthy, you're getting some exercise, you're getting some sun if the season's right for you,
Mm-hmm.
just taking care of yourself, do some meditation, write down some goals, write down
Mm-hmm.
what you're thankful for the day. That's a good jump
Yeah.
start sometimes. Just like waking up saying I'm going to have a good day because I get to wake up. I
Mm-hmm.
get to go to work. I get to come here and podcast in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I get to create content for 8 hours, 10 hours, you know? So, I think if we lead the day with I get to do those things. I think that can even just boost your day. If you're struggling with just trying to find a reason for getting, for just being.
Yeah.
And just every once in a while, just tell yourself you're doing the best you can do, you know? because we're all
Yeah.
human, and we're not all going to have a great day every day. Our plum bobs are not going to be green every day, you know, or our mulets aren't going to be happy and inspired and confident and whatever. But if we can just tell ourselves, and we can put in those protocols of just, you know, taking care of our mental state and our physical state, it's at least in the direction that it needs to go into, you know. So
I think
that's what I'll
that
tell people.
it's such amazing advice. Be thankful for the moment, be thankful for the day. Um, I would say that the advice I'd like to share is being a content creator, as we've said, is a thankless job. It's great when there's great moments, and it's bad
Hmm.
when there's bad moments. There's no
Yep.
ifs, ands, or buts, but take every day as a day by day. Today I was
Yep.
able to do one video, or today I was able to plan what my next video is going to be, or today I didn't fucking care. I wanted to watch the new season of Stranger Things. Okay.
Hmm.
Do whatever makes you happy. Something I wish I would have told myself a couple of years ago when I started this journey is don't create content for other people, create content for you. Create whatever you want, as long as it's for you, because it makes it easier. Because when you're creating content for other people, you're not creating for yourself. And as Nard said, live for the moment. Don't live for tomorrow, live for today. Nothing is guaranteed. Everything can go down very quick. Everything could change to the drop of a dime. So
True.
enjoy every moment. And if I can leave you with one bit, stop and smell the roses. Go
Hmm.
outside. Like I literally went for a walk yesterday, and I was watching kids on a playground, and they were having the time of their life. And I just was watching. I don't know these kids. I was just watching them, just living in the moment and having fun. And I enjoyed watching them because it just felt freeing. Or I went to meditation a couple weeks ago, and it was like scream meditation. It wasn't quiet
Ooh.
meditation. You were screaming and you were chanting, and it just was freeing. I was in a room with 30 people. I've met three of the people. They were my friends, but it was just so, just literally just being free, of just
Yeah.
having that moment of being free. And final thing is obviously smell the roses, but go outside, as Nard said.
Hmm.
Go outside, go for a 5-minute walk around the block. If you have like, just go outside and just feel motivated, because once you kind of get that like vitamin D back in you,
Hmm.
you feel great. Well, Nard, it has been an absolute pleasure
Thank
having
you.
to sit down and talk to you about mental health. As this May, mental health is important. We need to talk about mental health every single day, not just for a month of May, or when companies feel like talking about mental health, but they don't actually provide mental health services to their employees. This is a struggle that we will be dealing with for the rest of our lives. But if we work together as a community, we will end this stigma for mental health once and for all. And I hope everybody listening to this takes a moment of just self-reflection, of
Yes.
saying, I'm happy for who I am. And I can only do what I can do. I can only do what is in my means. And I cannot make everybody happy, because you cannot make everybody happy. You'll go insane. Or if you do, you forget about the most important person, is yourself. So,
Yep.
anyways, Nardvillain, where can we find your work?
You can find me on YouTube at Nardvillain, TikTok Nardvillain, Instagram Nard Sims, Twitch Nardvillain. Dag dag.
I love it. I like that you haven't said dag dag in the last couple of them, so I wasn't sure if you were doing that as
See?
being yourself, but I like this. Anyways, please go check out Nardvillain. Please go check out the other podcast in this series. Please go check out the Mishima Awards. They were out last
I'm gonna
Sunday.
I'm gonna check it out.
Go check it out. Link's gonna be below. Please, please, please have a great day, everybody, and we will definitely see you sooner than you think.
Mhm.
Bye, everyone.
Dag